cuándo? Ahora. ¿Y cuándo es? Ahora, ahora, ahora. Dime cuándo es?
Ahora, ahora, ahora.
Now you clap your hands to put some salsa in it. ¿Y cuándo es?
Ahora, ahora, ahora.
Dime cuándo es?
Ahora, ahora, ahora.
Okay, anybody else want to take a shot? Yeah. Chancers, come on, let's go. We got another one right here. She got a good one. What's your name?
Well, this is Katie.
Katie.
And I want to say health care is a right. 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 That's right. Health care is a right. Health care is a right.
Say what?
Health care is a right. Health care is a right.
Say what?
And that's why we're here today. We are demanding the right to health care be recognized for all New Yorkers and everyone in this country. Woo! And I'm going to bring on one of the leaders on this fight, Assemblyman Richard Gottfried.
Well, okay. So while we're in a multilingual mood, any Mandarin speakers in the crowd? Okay, when do we want it? Jin Tian. Jin Tian. Today. I don't know how to say now.
Now.
Jin Tian. I once asked a Chinese friend of mine, how do you say... Hi. So I once asked a Chinese friend of mine, how do you say yes we can in Chinese? And I know enough Chinese to know that there's no word for yes. And there's a word for no. And she kind of scratched her head and she said, we usually say si se puede. By the way, that was then Assembly member, now member of Congress, Grace Meng. So, Bobby Kennedy said that the future is not a gift, it is an achievement. We are here today to achieve an extraordinary step forward for New York. Yes. To make sure that health care is a right.
That's right.
Now, I think if you ask most New Yorkers, you know, here's a choice. Healthcare is a right. Healthcare is a right if you've got enough money to pay for it. I think most New Yorkers would kind of feel bad about checking that healthcare is a right only if you can afford it box. I think even most of my colleagues in the legislature would not want to check that box. And yet, that is the country we live in. This is a country that rations health care based on ability to pay, that makes you not only wait in line, but sometimes wait forever if you don't have the ability to pay, that tells you which doctors you can go to unless you've got enough money to pay for yourself. That's not what America ought to be about. That is not what New York ought to be about. It does not have to be that way. We know that there is a better way. We know that the New York Health Act would create a New York in which health care really is available to every man, woman, and child in New York, regardless of wealth, regardless of status, regardless of when they got here or how they got here, and that we can do this not only without breaking the bank, because it's the current system that is breaking the bank. We know that we can do this saving $45 billion a year.
Yeah.
That's over $2,200 for every man, woman, and child in New York. How do we go home explaining to our constituents that, yeah, we thought insurance companies ought to tell you what doctor or hospital you can go to. Yeah, we thought insurance companies ought to be allowed to charge you, shall we say, an arm and a leg. And yeah, we don't think you really need the $2,200 that could be getting delivered to you. You know, forget about all that, because, you know, the insurance companies, we wouldn't want to upset them. We're not going to go home doing that. I am proud to tell you that last night I had a conversation with Speaker Carl Heastie, the Speaker of the Assembly, and I've been talking with his office about, let's get this bill to the Assembly floor for a vote. That Assembly members really ought to be able to go home telling their constituents, we really did something about all of the obstacles to health care that we all know are real out there. Yes, preach. And last night, Speaker Heastie said to me, yes, I want to bring that bill to the floor of the Assembly. And so the sign-on letter that you are going to be carrying around on your lobbying visits today